Okay, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dmitry.Gorodnichy. I'm the research scientist with the Canada Border Services Agency, also as at the University of Ottawa. And here we're teaching you to build data science apps. And by apps, I mean a program, essentially a program which will do something for you. So it's a computer program. And this is where I say it's more a computing science approach rather than data science approach to analyzing data. So I will start sharing the screen very soon. But before doing that, a few words about, again, logistics. So we don't have much time. We have maybe about 35 minutes. I have a chat window opened in front of me, so you can ask any questions right there. And there will be people joining and leaving. I know that will try to monitor both screens at the same time, where we code and where people interact. Now, many of you probably will be watching this video offline, recorded. So then you can contact me by my Gmail, essentially. The best way is just by Gmail. And you can ask any questions, but also please offer ideas, suggestions on what could be improved or what are the topics you would like to discuss. So this is really an opportunity for all of us to get something useful and enjoyable from this experience, from this discussion. So I will be sharing the codes very soon. I see people are joining. Okay, so again, welcome people who are joining. We have already started recording the session, but you have not missed anything. I'm going to start sharing the screen right away. So we will be having a session very structured. So I suggest you use again Zoom chat to ask questions, and I have specifically I've thought on how to prepare it in such a way that we can fit in 30 minutes block. We have about 30 minutes and we can fit one module essentially. So today we'll be talking about making our app interactive. So last time we have developed a complete app. It was our first complete app which was running, and it was doing some analysis for New York State. It was showing results of COVID confirmed cases for New York. And we will review what we have done last time, and today we'll go to the next step, which is we'll make it interactive. And we'll talk about, okay, how do we debug, how we detect errors, how we keep track of the errors and make it easy for us to program, to code essentially. So we'll start sharing the screen right now. Okay, please let me know if there's any problem with the sound or anything else, because again, you are my only way to know that everything is okay. So if there are no comments, I assume you can hear me well. And I have started sharing the screen with you. So we would always start with our R101 Learning R Together webpage, a portal which I have set up. And we will review the things which we have done last time. And we will be talking about something new. So today we'll be doing this, making our app reactive with a package called Shine. And we will go back into our RStudio Cloud, and we will go into our R101 project. So by the way, I'm showing you right now other projects which I have in my workspace. I assume that all of you by now already have your own account in rstudio.cloud, and you would have something similar, and you would have their R101. This is where we code all our this lunch learn sessions. Now, I have also there some other projects for myself. One is a project which I'm doing with the University of Ottawa. Another one which is essentially my own codes for iTrack COVID app, which I have been developing for quite some time. And I'm using codes from there essentially to show you what we can do. And one is essentially a copy from GitHub of this entire Ottawa repository. And at some point, I would like to dedicate all our session about how to use GitHub, so that you could start actually not only using and reading, but also contributing to GitHub, contributing to our auto website, or contributing to iTrack development. So again, it's great environment to program, and you can program it from a CDSA machine, from any government of Canada machine. If you have access to RStudio Cloud, you store all your data there, and you can do many things there. So will be watching my time. So we have exactly 40 minutes, and I have essentially stopwatch in front of me. So we'll finish exactly in 30 minutes from now. So last time we have developed with you this code. It is called 01 board, and we used a package called Flex dashboard. So I will run it right now, and I see more people joining. So again, for those who are joining us later, don't be sad yet, because again, I'm recording everything, and you will be able to catch up with what we're doing right now. So we are reviewing what we have done with you last time. Last time we have built with you this app. It was our first app, and remember, I put a lot of emphasis from the very beginning. In my very first session, we talked about the importance of creating a table of content here. Now you would see this table of content here now it has more details compared to what we have last time, because I have enabled visualizing my chunks here. So I can click on a chunk called setup, and it goes to this chunk. And in order to do that, I'll show you how you can do it. You go to tools, you go to global options, and in here in R Markdown, show in documents outline. By default, it's section only. Now I have chosen sections and all chunks. It's very important that you have this table of content, because again, when your code is more than screen size, it's very important that you see all your code structure, and you can easily jump from one portion of the code to another. And today we'll be extending our code. We'll be leaving our departure point will be exactly the code which we have written with you last time. It's this table of content, and from there we will go to something what I have written this essentially this morning and yesterday night. I have slightly just extended it, and I have added a package called Shiny. So we will be doing it today in the next 25 minutes. So, but before that, let's review what we have done with you last time. Remember, last time we have started using the package called Flex dashboard. Now we have also started using maps, and remember, we started using a package called leaflet. And you don't need to worry much about what it's doing. Just use it for time being the way it is right now. Okay, I have questions here. Okay, I will repeat what I have just done with the tools. So with tools, what I have done, I have changed the table of content in such a way that it shows not only this headings, but it also shows you chunks. For example, here a chunk, I didn't give a name to this chunk, but I could give a name here called map. And you would see in here, look, it shows this is item in my table of content called chunk. And in order to do that, I go to tools, I go to global options, and I go to R Markdown and show in document outline, what I call table of content, choose sections and all chunks. This is very helpful. So in such a way that you have all your structure in front of you always, and we'll be jumping back and forth between different pages. Remember, last time we have built with you 4 pages. By the way, let's meet this document and refresh our memory on what we have done. So I click knit and it needs the code. So when it creates a code, it creates the app. And this is what we have done with you last time. Remember, we have created 4 pages: map, table, trends, info. And in fact, it would be nice if I can squeeze it into one screen so you can see it at the same time, because then you can understand exactly what table of content is doing. By the way, the app is this Flex dashboard is a very smart package. It will automatically resize everything according to the layout of your screen. For example, right now it's recomputing because I made it small. But let's say if I make it just slightly bigger, it will be like that. So last time we have created with you a page called map. We have created with you a page called table, which was showing interactively table, and you can sort there by city or by confirmed cases. Remember, very practical, very practical. You can do it with any data you have. Now we have created a very nice graph which shows the top 6 cities, most infected cities in New York. And we have also created a page with info. And you see the table of content shows you exactly what you're doing here. So I will try maybe even to resize this, maybe so we can see it at the same time. It is always good to see it at the same time if we can. Let me see if I can do it on one screen. Okay, that's a little tricky. So I cannot put it, unfortunately, in one on my one screen. So ideally, you would have 2 screens. On one screen, you have your app. On the other screen, you have your table of content and your code. So I guess I will be just jumping back and forth between my different codes here. So maybe I'll try if I can get a box at this time. Okay. Oh, okay. Actually, it seems like I can do something like that. Okay. So now I assume you had time to understand what this code is doing, and the fact I decided to structure this sort of presentations, my lectures, sort of the way I was teaching Computing Science 101 back at the University of Alberta. In fact, I mentioned to you that when I was doing my PhD at the University of Alberta, I was teaching, actually, I was a course instructor for this course, which is called Introduction to Computing. In fact, it's about fundamental concepts, including introduction to algorithms, essentially how to write algorithms. So, and I have to follow some structure. So I will be using my 30-minute blocks to teach you a concept. So, and we'll be sort of following the same layout. So I'm using this Computing 101 layout for teaching now R101. And in fact, I sort of hope maybe to develop eventually a course maybe for OU, which would be a course for Introduction to Computing Science or Machine Learning or Operations Research using R. Back 20 years ago, we were using MATLAB, high-level programming language, which allows you to do many computational tasks. So let's proceed to the next step. Next step is the following. So I have already extended your code, and I will run it. I click here, and you will see the difference. And then in the remaining 22 minutes, we will be just writing this code ourselves, starting from where we left last time. Now, let me see. Yes. So it's working right now. Well, you see what I have done. I've taken exactly the same code we had in the past, but now I have added menus, and now you can choose not only New York, but you can choose any state, and it will show you the data for any state you choose, and you can choose a number of cities you want to be shown. Last time we narrowed our output to 6 cities. Remember, Now we can change it, and we can do in a trends here. We can also change number of days we track over time. Let's say for 2 months instead of 1 month. So we can change scale and make it constant or non-constant. So this is what we'll be doing with you today. But the structure is exactly the same. You see, I have changed nothing in our layout. I have just added interactivity so that the user can select now a particular variable value. So I will close this screen. I have to be very careful how I close it, by the way, so I don't close too many things at the same time. Okay, so the best way to start layout or to start a Shiny, it's always file, new file, and it's still R Markdown. And in here, it tells you, you can select Shiny. Remember last time we have done it from template and we used dashboard. Now I say Shiny and I say okay. And you see the difference now is this line. So in fact, what I will encourage you to do on your own time, just do what I have done, create this, it's a template, give it a name. I can give it a name, okay, right now myself as well. Save it as, and the way I do it, I call it Z shiny.rmd. And by the way, you remember that you can see all my files in here. So in the past, I have made a template for my HTML template. It's a basic R Markdown. And now it's a Shiny. And you can just run it and see what it does. Now, I will not be running this. I will just take this line and go to my 0 board and paste this line in here. Okay, you got it, right? Now, what I need to do, I need to change, instead of this, I need it to be dynamic. So I will need to add menus here. Now to add menus, you can see how this is done in Shiny. There is example here. To add a menu, you just, that's the line which allows you to input a number. And I do Control C, Control V, and I now will copy it somewhere here, you know. So I will create a new chunk, which I will call input. And I need to say this is our chunk. Okay. And in here, I will add this, my first little, it will be a slider. It will be a slider. Now, if you'd like to more type of inputs, you can do help. Remember, I showed you how you can use help. Help. You don't know what this function is doing? Go to help, and it will show you, right? And it will show you also other things you can have in here. So, for example, I will be using what is called select. Select. So it's somewhere in here. Slider here. Select. Okay. So maybe just to expedite, I will just copy my portion of code from here. You would see that you can also have something like that. This is essentially a sidebar where you would have your control menus. Okay, so essentially, so I'm just showing you how you would start building your first interactive slider. And to save time, I will now just go to this portion which I have already written, and I will just copy the entire portion here into this place in here, right? So instead of this, I will delete this, and I will copy the entire portion. Okay, so let's see what this is doing. So at the moment we have changed nothing. We have just added sliders and checkboxes. Now we'll give a different name. We'll give a name app, -app. So we will not confuse it with our previous app. Okay, now if we click, now you would see that once you have added shiny here, this becomes not neat, it becomes run document. And I click there. So look what is happening here. It's compiling, and it will be exactly the same layout which we had, but now it has this beautiful menu on the left-hand side, right? Okay, good. So the next step for you, now you'd like it really to be interactive. So instead of, so here we assigned our state manually. We made it New York. Now we will do it what is called reactively. And you will see the way I'm doing it. I have split my code in two. In the first portion, I will be just reading data. In my second portion, in here, I will be assigning this DT variable. And I use, you see, I'm just copying the header. Okay. So I will give it a different name. I will give it name DT for now. And you see what is very important in table of content. You see right now, okay, I have a chunk called setup, and I quickly go there, or I click on this chunk and I go here. Okay, so now we need to replace New York State with our selection. So selection, to access selection, you do it this way. Okay, let's understand what's going on here. There is a little delay because the screen is being captured, so it creates a little challenge, but it's okay. So, by the way, shortcut Alt dash will give you an error, this assignment symbol. So again, Alt dash, that's what I have done. And you remember another shortcut was Control I to reindent. So that's how you would access your input. Now let's look at what is state. State is a name. It's a name I assigned in here. So all your input will have will be called input, and then $sign and a subfield state, or a variable under input variable. And here I have a state, days to track, show n, and here I have also added a few other things. So actually I'll change it here because these names need to be different. That's how you would access it. Okay, so I'll be, oops, yeah, because of delay, creates a little challenge here. Okay, so I will have, how many variables do I have right now? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Six variables. 6 variables under input. And the way to access it is just like that. Now, you have now to use what is called reactive. Now, these are reactive variables. And in order to do a reactive assignment, I'll show you the way you do it. You do it using reactive. So I will be, reactive means it becomes a function because it's really a function. A function is something which changes depending on the argument. It's no longer static value, it's reactive. It reacts to the changes in the values. So this is what I need to change. I go here, and in here I need to change this to be reactive. And I will put this in here. So because it's reactive, every time I change input state, if this dt will need to be also changed automatically. Now, because I have brackets here, I need to close brackets in here. Look, so very important, of course, to make sure that you don't have any symbols. You see this error sign? There was error sign across, which showed you something was wrong. And what I'm doing right now, I highlight the entire piece and I do Control-I because I want to re-indent. Control-I. Look, booms, it re-indents nicely. It does not re-indent nicely. It means something is wrong there. So this is the way, again, to debug, essentially, to understand what is happening there. Okay, so now this dt is actually is not a data table, it's a function. And because of that, I need to change the name of it. I remember in my first 2 sessions, I talked a lot about the importance of giving good, proper names. So the name should be explicit about what this variable is actually doing. So now, R is a prefix which tells me that it's a reactive function. And in order to access this variable, I will have to access it as a function here. Look, in here, everywhere where I had dt, I will have to replace it with that. So this is a very important concept. And I'm just watching time, and also I'll just quickly check if you have any questions. Okay. Now the question is, okay, to see the map. Okay, we'll go back to the map later. Okay, so I will finish this very important change which we're doing right now. So we're replacing a static variable data table with a reactive function. So everywhere where we had dt, actually we have to replace it with the rdt. So I go everywhere, and this is where I use table of contents all the time. I go there and I see, okay, I need to change it here. I change it here. Now, where else? I have it in here. Okay, so I need to change it in here. Okay, so now it's a function instead of a variable. Now, this is not enough yet because now the entire block is reactive. And I'm using ggplot, but it's a reactive ggplot. And if you are going to do a reactive ggplot, so I switch to my, again, code which I have already written, and you will see how I'm doing it. I use this reactive in here. So I'll have to use reactive here. So we'll be doing it again here. I go to our code, and I will have to do it this way. I will have to, again, assign a variable. I'll need to make it reactive. Okay, so I do Control-I. So that's how now I have encapsulated the entire code into my function. And now I can run this function when I want later in here. Now to run a function like which does plotting, you have to use all the time also particular what is called the wrappers, like that. So you will have to do it this way. Okay, so now this portion is ready, and this is what I've done in here. So I'm switching between two codes here. Let me try to go back to check if there are any questions here. Okay, so let's continue, and we do the same. We have to do the same with map. Now with map also, we are plotting a map, and in order to plot a map, you need to use render. It's like a wrapper which allows you to have interactive map. So in here, where we had a map, you see, in here, I go to maps by clicking on map, and I have to encapsulate the entire portion into this render leaf wrapping function. And you see, I do it all the time. I highlight the portion and I do Control-I to make sure it nicely indents everything. Okay, so we've done this, and the last one was this. So also here, now data table is also reactive. So you have to use a wrapper around this as well. And the wrapper for this one, you'll understand actually the syntax is the same actually. It's render and the function. So that's how you do it to wrap the data table. So you see, okay. And again, I will highlight and I do Control-I to readjust. Okay, so that I've just changed right now. I've replaced entirely my data table with function or DT. Let's run it right now. So I click on run and let's see what is happening. And it's quite often that I can make a mistake here. So it is doing something. Could not find could not find function render leaflet. I see. Okay, that's good. And that's why I like doing it together with you. So in order to see it in here, it shows you the errors here cannot find, and you can scroll it here. It will show the same message, and it will show you a chunk in which it is, and you can already guess where it is. It's where you leave left, because this function, all functions like this, they are defined in these packages. So I have to copy this line before Control-I. I click Control-I. So you see, before I call a function render leaflet. So that was the problem, I think. Let's run it again. So I run it again. And now it should find this function and it should work. Let's see what messages are here again. Okay. In block data. So essentially, what we see here, that it is running, but it is in this page, on this page map, it is doing something we don't know what. Let's go to other pages. The same. Okay, so it looks like it's the same problem. Okay, that's okay. So we will try to understand where the problem is. So we will have to look into how we create our this data table reactive portion. Okay, I will go to my code. Let me see if there are only 3 minutes left, and here I will go to the place where I have changed my data table in here. So I will do it just right now. And in fact, I know what is happening because my data table here is now a function not only of state, it's also a function of how many cities do we want to be shown. You see? So I will copy this portion entirely, and I will copy it into our portion where we have our RDT here. So that's where it will need to be replaced. So I will just copy it. Okay. So now what is happening here? I'm taking a data for a particular state, and I will reduce the output only to n cities. Okay. So I see it shows, you see, it's very important. It shows you error. Okay. And you can see the error is right here. Now we can run the document. Now I have about 2 minutes left. What I will do, I will put the entire code into R101. Okay, so it's running right now. You see, I have changed. Right now, it shows only for New York, and I can see if it works for other states. Yes, it works for other states. So it works wonderfully for all states. And it shows the table, it shows trends now. And for trends, it will also even show how many cities would like to be shown. Maybe we haven't changed this yet, so we will fix it later. So anyway, this is how you convert your static app into dynamic or interactive app. So to conclude this session, I will put my code, which I have created. I will put it into our R101 directory in here. You would be able to paste it entirely from here. So it will be called the board app. And this would be exactly the code which we were writing with you together in here. And you will be able to run it. And you will see I have made a few minor changes here. So it makes better sense in what the program is actually doing.